live, laugh.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Daniel. Christian is out with the what is it? I just said it. He's moving.
With
But
the
I am here. I'm
procrastination.
joined by Trey Havoc, Mr. 24K. Trey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Doing good. I dig your background there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is we're actually going through a move, or we moved a little bit ago, and I wanted this to be like my interview section or
Yeah,
like my promo section, and this is my
yeah,
little my dream wall or my goal wall. So I want to make sure that
awesome.
was in there.
Yeah, always good to have. I feel like that might have not been something like 4 years ago, but since COVID, like everybody's got to have like their perfectly curated wall with everything on it, just so that people like it. It's also a good way to like express your personality. So
Yeah.
definitely awesome. It's a cool belt you have there.
Oh yeah, my next level pro wrestling heavyweight title.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm excited to talk with you. You are one of the standouts in North Carolina, I would say right now. We had the pleasure of seeing you at the last Ace show. So that was actually my first time seeing you, but I've heard about you consistently for like the last couple of years. So it's awesome to get to talk to you. Before we get started, where can everybody find you? And do you have any shows coming up that you want to share?
I have Dominant Championship Wrestling in Selma, North Carolina, this weekend. And then May 27th, I do have Next Level Pro Wrestling, where I am defending my Next Level Pro Wrestling heavyweight title against can't say who yet, but the challenge has been put out.
Yeah, I saw somebody advertise that show that's not actually on there. So I might have an idea. But if that's the case, that'll be a pretty cool match. You definitely want to check that out. I think it'll bow you guys away. Awesome. So before like I guess where we could start with this is so you're a wrestler now, you've got a championship behind you, but what is your earliest memory of wrestling?
My earliest memory, I was probably like 5 or 6 years old, and I was flipping through the channels because I was trying to find something. I was trying to find cartoons.
Yeah.
And there was I stopped at this one channel, and it was like a black and blue screen, and it was like really dark, and it was like a silhouette of this dude just walking, and I was like, this is really boring.
Uh-huh.
What what channel is this? So then I flipped back, and something was like, nah, flip and see what that was. So I'm watching, and it turned out to be the Undertaker's
Oh
entrance,
yeah.
and it was one of his matches, and watching that, I was like, yo, what is this? What is this? What is this thing? And I remember for like the next week, I was trying to keep going, like flipping through channels every night, trying to find
Oh
like
yeah.
what channel it was because I had no clue.
Mhm.
And yeah, then a week later I found it, and I was like, yeah, this is where I need to be every Monday.
That's awesome. What were your first like take? Like for me as a kid, I was afraid of the Undertaker. I was in like middle school and like I wasn't like afraid that he was gonna like kill me. I was afraid that I'd have to wrestle him. Like I had like a nightmare where he would like follow me across the country because we were supposed to wrestle, and that was like a nightmare for a whole summer. But 5 or 6, what are your first thoughts when you see this tall ass dude come out with like dreary music and smoke and lightning?
Well, I'm 6, and I'm like the dead because they called him the Dead Man,
Yeah.
the Undertaker, and I was like, oh, so dead people wrestle now. That's good. That's not creepy at all.
Yeah.
And then I forgot who he was wrestling, but like, and this is back when Undertaker did the upside down ring exit,
Oh yeah.
and I was like I was like that is just the coolest thing. And to this day, I'm scared to try it because I feel like I will fall on my neck, but it was just the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And then
It's
the tombstone power driver, I was like, he's just breaking this guy's neck. It's
yeah.
fine. Murdering people on live television. It's
Yeah.
okay.
It's crazy. Like, and for the Undertaker, he is like this big, like, I think a lot of people have like recency bias. They see him like as a slow moving dude, but he like could like launch himself over the top ropes or the old school where he's walking across. They're like, he was like surprisingly agile for a dude that's as big as he is.
Yeah, yeah. No, the old school. I was like, I'm like, he's just walking the ropes.
Yeah.
There's no help at the time. I'm like, no help, just straight 7 feet tall,
Yeah.
just walking the ropes like it's nothing.
Yeah, like when I first started seeing it, I mean, probably Undertaker, I don't know exactly, it was probably early 90s and he'd been doing stuff before that, but that's probably like 15 years into his career and he's just doing this like it's nothing, like
Yeah.
crazy. The Undertaker is, I think a lot of people would not have been fans if not for Undertaker. I feel like he's kind of our generation's Ric Flair.
Hmm.
Like everybody before us always says, "Oh, I saw Ric Flair," but talking to people, it's like, "Oh, the Undertaker is like." If you like grew up in the 2000s and that was one of your first memories, uh, so you keep on watching every Monday night. Who are some of the like the what drew you in the most about it? Was it like the characters, the wrestling, or like the like the backstage segments?
It was pretty much like all of it. Like I've always like really been a like into like combat sports, I guess.
Yeah,
Like I did like karate and stuff as like a kid, and seeing this was like something different because I'm like, oh, like you got a ring. These guys are doing all these crazy moves, and they've got all these larger than life characters to go with it.
yeah,
Like seeing Undertaker, Kane, John Cena, DX was like my I got in trouble in school because I made like a DX
uh huh,
poster and it said "suck it." I got sent to the principal, but like stuff like that was just like it all just it just clicked for me.
yeah.
Uh,
Is that the second iteration of DX?
yes,
I had. Do you remember what the PSPs?
I love the PSPs to this
They were
day. I
my
love the PSPs.
they were my background of my PSP. Like it was like a spray painted. I love DX2, and that was like my first like introduction to them. Like I'd heard about them, and they're like one of these things, and people were like, "Yeah, like DX," but then like it happened again, and I was like, "This is fucking awesome,
Yes, dude,
awesome."
the fucking when they dropped all the shit on
Oh,
on Vince and like the Spirit Squad and stuff.
yeah,
I'm a kid, like, oh yeah, put the shit on him, like dump all the shit on him, like it was
yeah.
great.
It's like the opposite of like slime time with Nickelodeon,
Yeah,
or the
yeah,
best way possible.
it's like it's a little
Awesome.
grittier.
Yes. So you're a big fan of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane, John Cena. Um, did you have a point where you kind of took back or like stopped watching, or were you just through line all the way through with wrestling?
So my was it my end of my freshman, my sophomore year of high school,
Yeah.
we ended up my mom got real sick and we ended up leaving where we lived at to go
Huh.
move somewhere else and we didn't have cable.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest break that I took. That was probably for like a year.
Mhm.
And then it was actually when I started going to the gym because that was the only place that had cable. So I'd go to the gym and I'd train and work out for like 3 hours because that was
Yeah.
how long Raw was.
Yeah. Did you know that at that point that you wanted to be a wrestler, or were you like training for something else?
I was training because I was actually I wrestled in high school and middle school. I did amateur wrestling
Mhm.
because a little bit after my first experience to it, I was like, "Mm, this is what I want to do. I want to
Yeah.
wrestle. Like, I don't want to do anything else. This is what I want to do." So then when my middle school ended up having tryouts for wrestling,
Yeah.
I show up and I'm like, all right, where's the ring? I'm like, all right, we're gonna learn takedowns. All right, what am I doing the FU? Like, what is the FU? I don't see any tombstones in here. And
Yeah.
that was a big wake up call for me that it was different. Like there were different levels to this.
Yeah. Wrestling, like it's very like I in college I did like the video AV thing for sports and I did wrestling one time. And like the first part it was like kind of normal, kind of what I expected. Then they started it like where the guy is just like hugging the dude from behind. That's how they start. I was like, what is going on here? Like I like that's probably what I think people think of when they actually watch wrestling, like real wrestling.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I was like, is this fake? Like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, it's definitely got to be weird. And I wonder how many like coaches have that story where they're like, nope, this is amateur wrestling. We're gonna do things differently. Um, did you find that you liked it? Obviously,
I
you did it in
did.
high school.
Yeah, I found I after I got through the transitionary period,
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I love combat sports and being able to actually do it and
yeah,
do it to a certain level. Like I
yeah,
was never the best at it, but I did enjoy it and I was pretty good at it. Um, yeah, so that definitely that was something I really enjoyed. It helped me, get out of the stay out of the streets, give me something to do
yeah.
after school, like
Huh.
strictly.
I've seen you wrestle, and you're kind of a shit talker. Was that the same case when you were like going up against middle school kids?
No, man. I actually rest. A lot of my middle school was really practice.
Uh-huh.
Didn't do a lot of meets middle school, but once I hit high school, we went to a lot more.
Yeah,
And I was actually like up until senior year, I was really timid and shy, man. I was one of the guys that's like, oh, I'm already beat before I even
yeah,
before I even step into the mat. Like, because I wrestled at 170, and there's a bunch of different types of 170s out
yeah,
there. Like, you could have like the little short and fat 170 that I used to be, or you could have the 6'3", like completely like built up 170s, and it's like I don't think that you're of age
yeah.
to be honest with
These don't
you.
add up.
Like, I need to see your birth certificate.
Yeah, I've seen kids like that. Um, so, at what point did you decide that you wanted to? So, you always kind of had it in the back of your mind that you wanted to wrestle. What point did you take that leap, and where did you start that journey?
So I was, it was a little bit before my 18th birthday, and I worked at Food Line. I was a cashier,
Okay.
and I had this customer come in, Travis, his name's Boxer T,
Uh-huh.
but he came in and he had a modern day Warriors pro wrestling shirt on. And I was like, oh, hey, I like wrestling. He was like, oh, well, I'm a wrestler. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, I've always wanted to wrestle. So he's like, hey, he's like, let me call my guy, see if we can, get you over here. So he made a phone call. He came back to me. It was right around closing. He's like, hey, come to this address or come to the Civitan Firehouse next Saturday at like 12.
Mm.
So at this little small ass town, Civitan, North Carolina, you go like down in bumfuck nowhere, fucking go there, and they're like, all right, kid, we're gonna teach you how to put up a ring. You're gonna do some bumps, and you're gonna row the ropes. So it's like, okay, like, um, and a bunch of guys just showing me how to get in, how to get out, different type of shit. And at the time, I was fresh out of amateur, so I was like 170. It was small. I was small, but I was like built.
Yeah.
And it's actually where I met Patrick Scott and Donnie Ray.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at the time it was Mestizio Jr. and XYZ Xavier Young. But met them. Patrick actually called me over. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I like your look." I was like, "Thanks." That was kind of it, but they were super cool.
Yeah.
And just showing up there, I ended up going on my birthday, my 18th birthday, and that Tony Chase, the Supernatural,
Uh-huh.
he comes up to me before the show starts. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "I heard it was your birthday." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want a spot?" I was like, "Do I?" Like, what do you want me to do? He's
Yeah.
like, "You're gonna work security for Boxer T because at the time he was out injured,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, you're gonna work security for him. I'm gonna have my match. I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna come in. I'm just gonna beat you up. All you gotta do is just work with me." I was like, okay. So he's like, "I'm gonna hit you with a chair. Don't worry. I'm gonna get you in a safe spot." I was like, all right, cool. So I'm sitting there. His match is over. He walks away, and I hear the crowd cheering, and I'm like, they're like, "Look, watch out! Look behind you." I was like, all right, this is the spot. Black. Black. Um, I don't know what happened. I ended up watching the video back, but he hit me right at the base. It was an accident, of course, but he hit me
Yeah.
right at the base, and I had a nice little knot there. But yeah, I blacked that. I couldn't remember shit from what happened. But
That's
that
crazy.
was Yeah, that was the first thing I'd ever done it. That was my 18th birthday, and I'm 26 now. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully you haven't had any more run-ins like that. I'm gonna take it a little bit further back. I also worked at Food Lion out of high school. Do you remember the code for bananas?
Ah, I feel like I do, but I also feel like I'm wrong.
I think it's like
Oh,
4011.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
It was. It was either 4011 or 4799, but yeah, no, it was
Yeah, there's
4011.
so many things that I've forgotten that are useful, but I still remember the code for bananas at Food Lion. So, um, that's awesome. I want to take it back a little bit further too. And you're this kid that's been dreaming about wrestling. You walk into middle school, you expect to walk into a ring. What's it like when you actually step into the ring for the first time in training?
Dude, it was literally everything I'd ever wanted. But it was a 15 and a half by 15 and a half ring because Mike Scholes was the promoter. He wanted a smaller ring to be able to fit in tighter places.
Yeah,
So he like cut it down. So it's a small ring. But dude, it was I was so happy because I was like, this is all I've ever wanted to do.
yeah,
And to actually step into a ring for the first time was I can't describe that moment.
yeah. Because like, let's say you want to be a NFL player, you could play football, you could play basketball, but you can't like step into a wrestling ring unless you're actually trained to be a wrestler. So it's one of those things that like everybody dreams of doing. And I imagine that that moment when you first step in, it's got to be pretty special.
It was great. It was fan like I stepped and I was like, I'm doing this. And they were like, all right, after we bumped and everything, and they taught me everything, or not everything, but they taught me the stuff for the day. They were like, is there anything you want to try? I was like, can I hit a rock bottom? Like, what? I was like, I just want to hit a rock bottom. So one of the trainees came to let me hit a rock bottom. I was over the moon. I was like, yeah. They were like, hey, that was nice. That was good. If you're ever gonna do that, turn your face. You're gonna bust your nose wide open. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I did it.
That is awesome. Yeah, I can imagine. Like, I think almost anybody that watches wrestling has like a part of them that's like, I want to do this. So it's always cool, like when you get to talk to people that have, and you don't always think about like how you feel is like because it's a like you never done a match, but like being in that ring's got to be a dream come true. So it's awesome to hear how cool that was for you. Um, jump back forward. You get hit by the chair. Your official kind of in match debut, I guess, not technically. But what is your first character when you start out?
So when I first started, it was that like I didn't have a character probably until like a year in.
Mhm.
Um, it was kind of like, oh hey, we need you for this battle royal, or we need you for we're missing two guys for our triple threat triple threat tag match. So that was
Yeah,
actually the first official match I ever had. So I didn't really have a character until probably a year. I would say like a year and a half before, and my first character was actually my current character,
yeah.
Mister 24 Karat. So it was actually my gear maker at the time. He was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" Or he's like, "What do you want to be?" And I was like, "I want to be the." So this is the character that I wanted. I'll go ahead because I love telling the story. So when I first got the call that I was gonna be able to go train and stuff, I had lived with a friend of mine. Um, and my friend was a big wrestling fan just like me. And when I told him, he was happy for me. He's like, "So what's your gimmick? Like, what's your character gonna be?" I was like, "I don't know. I kind of like Baron Corbin." So like the NXT Baron Corbin. So
Yeah.
he's like, so he helped me make up some gear. Like we were going through like entrance music. I was like, I got it. I'm gonna be the Apocalypse Trey Havoc, and I was gonna be like a brooding lone wolf type gimmick, and that's what I wanted.
Uh-huh.
But I'm too bubbly. like I like I'm too happy and stuff, so I could never pull it off legitimately
Yeah.
because I smile too much. So that then when the 24 karat character came and he was like, "Well, what are you?" I was like, I'm confident in myself, but you know, I'm more confident in my abilities versus how I look."
Yeah.
He's like, "You," because at the time, like I said, I was smaller. I had like curly hair or whatever. I was a pretty boy, so they're like, "We want you to be a little cocky, confident. We're gonna give you 24 karat, so you know gold,
Yeah.
stick of gold." And I'm like, "All right, cool." So they gave it to me, and I got my gear, and just working through it, trying to figure out how to make it my own. To where like, and it took me a good like 5 years, but I think I got it for the most part.
Yeah. If you had to tell somebody that's never heard of like you, which is a crime if they haven't, and shame on them. But how would you describe the 24K Trey Havoc?
24 karat Trey Havoc, like I said, he's a man who is confident in who he is. He's confident in his abilities to the point sometimes it's cocky, but everything that I do is like I've touched gold. So I like to call, especially since I got this, I call myself the man made of gold
Yeah.
because everything I do now is it's gold.
Yeah.
So I guess that's uh kind of way to it. I like for people to see me
Yeah.
because it's something that I feel like I can really express by how I am.
Yeah.
I love to have a good time. I love to sit there, joke around with the fans, joke around with my opponent, just because I'm so confident in what I'm about to do that I don't have to be serious.
Yeah.
So that's that's kind of me. That's who I am.
Kind of a random but on topic question. Um, what is your finisher?
So I have four.
Okay.
Well, I have one finish. It's the missing element, which is a fireman's carry to a neck breaker,
Yeah.
or a DVD. It's a variation on the Death Valley Driver. I've got the Gold Rush, which is my spear.
Okay.
I've got the Golden Compass, which is a one-winged angel.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love doing that one. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I love doing that one. And then I have my Golden Shower, which is my moonsault.
That's awesome. Because I was wondering, you need to incorporate some sort of like strike, and you got to call it the Midas touch.
I love that actually. Because I have a 24 karat. That's my 24K kick, which is basically just a pump kick.
Yeah.
But I might change it.
Yeah.
I actually like
Okay. You don't have to pay me for it or anything. That's free.
that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
that's what I was
appreciate
thinking of when you're talking. Everything you touch turns to gold. I was like, that's perfect. Like if he hasn't done that, I'm gonna tell him. Um, but that's awesome. How do you go through picking? Like, I know originally you were gonna do kind of Baron Corbin, but you take it back a little bit. How do you pick the move set, and then how do you pick like that entrance music and kind of walk us through that, or at least how it worked for you?
So I like either because I've always my move set has always based me to be like a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I've always been like pretty strong, like I would say above average strong.
What'd you bench?
So I haven't benched for strength in like 2 years. The last time I did it was like 375
That's
for
pretty good.
three,
Yeah.
but like nothing too crazy, but it's
Yeah.
um I'm really functionally strong though.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. Like I have like an explosive strength, but I've always liked to feel like I want the people to feel something whenever I come out.
Uh-huh.
So whenever I listen to something, if I can feel it and I feel like it'll resonate, that's what I'll use. I've been really into like the brass lately because I feel like people hear that brass and they hear that orchestral and
Uh,
it triggers something. I've always wanted something for like if people are doing something, whether they're like eat popcorn or on their phone, I want my music to hit and they just like look up.
yeah.
Oh, what's that? That's always the goal that I've always wanted. But and that's more so how I pick my music.
What are you using right now?
I'm using Out of Here by RL Grime, but
Okay.
it's kind of like a twist because I've got the Jabari chant in the middle because now I'm part of the Gorilla Squad.
Mm,
So I have the Jabari chant in the beginning, and then it stops. You hear the 24K, and then it starts the Out of Here by RL Grime.
awesome. Do you find
Bo
your
Bo, huh?
Oh, you go ahead.
I was gonna say Bojack actually mixed it for me. So
Yeah, Bojack is the dude. I saw
yeah,
the video he made for you guys, The Way.
yeah. The
The
path.
Path. I'm so sorry. I'll edit that out so it looks like I knew. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Get that shit right, man.
But yeah, he kills it with that stuff.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
so 24K Trey. Um, what was your first actual match?
My first match, it was actually I had two in one night. So I had just finished training. They're like, "Hey, we have a battle royal. We need bodies." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'll be in the battle royal." At the time, I've got on jogging pants and a long sleeve like sweatshirt.
Yeah.
They're like, "All right, well, where's your gear?" I was like, "This is it." They're like, "No." So like a bunch of people started like throwing like I had one guy throw me wrestling shoes, the other guy threw me like a pair of like the compression tights, and then like somebody threw me a shirt. They're like, "Put this on." So I like threw it all on and went out there and wrestled, and I was literally like the third person out. And they were like, "Oh, you did good." I was like, "Did I?" Because I didn't do anything. They're like, hey, we're actually like I said, we're missing two people for our triple threat tag team match for the tag team championships. I was like, you're gonna put me in a tag team championship match right now? So they put me and this guy Rashad in, who was one of the trainees, put us in, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. He was like, well, you have amateur background, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, do that. I was like, okay. So like, dude tagged me in, and I end up shooting on one guy, just straight shooting on him. Like, he was like, "Hey, hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know. Y'all put me in this match. I have no idea what I'm doing." But we end up getting the first fall. The first because it was elimination.
Yeah.
So they were getting the eliminating the first team. It was actually James the Beast Beasley, who was my trainer before he passed, and his son John Beasley. We end up getting them disqualified with the old Eddie spot.
Oh yeah, with the chair.
Yeah. And then that second match is when we did the when he had me going and just started shooting on him basically.
Yeah.
I went in the back, I was like, hey man, I'm sorry. He's like, no, you're good. And he's like, that's what I wanted. I was like, I didn't know.
That's awesome. When was the first moment that you stepped into a ring and you were like, I belong here?
Oh, that was actually very recently. That was very recently. That was actually my it was at Dominant Championship Wrestling. It was my it was not my six man, but it was my tag match. It was me and Aaron Biggs against the Extreme Horsemen from
Oh yeah.
CW Anderson and PQ, and having that match and going up, and I've trained with both those guys, more so CW. And I know how hard of it how much of a hard ass CW is. So I was like, hey, I went to him after the match. I was like, how was everything? How like where do you see me? Like how was it? He was like, dude, you're good. He's like, I don't know why you're so. He's like, you're good. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And I went in the locker room and I cried.
Oh,
But the only other time before that, I wrestled Diego Hill.
uh-huh.
It was my first match at PWF at Premier Wrestling Federation, and I've been trying to get on there for like a year, and Dylan Crosley ended up getting hurt, which he's prone to do. But he ended up getting hurt, so I had to fill in for him in the first round of the Oceanic tournament. So I was like, shit. I was like, this is my first match. If I mess up, I'm done. But this is like my chance. We went out there. We went like I think we went like 12, and I came back and everybody just like gave me a hug because I had friends in the locker room, and they just gave me a hug. They're like, dude, that was fucking great. I was like, oh thank God. Oh thank you. Like because of where I came from,
Uh-huh.
I've always needed the reassurance because I've, like I said, from Civvy Town to the stuff that I'm doing now, like it's been a very long road,
Yeah.
and I've never really felt like, hey, this like I'm here,
Yeah.
I'm doing this, and to finally get to the point where I feel that way,
Mhm.
it was yeah, it was I was very emotional.
Yeah. It's kind of a whirlwind because you had that match with DCW, and then right behind you, you've got that belt. What is it like? You first have that moment of validation from CW Anderson, and now you have a whole company that is putting their faith. And that's a really nice looking belt that you get to wear around your waist when you enter the ring. What is it like winning that first chance? Is that your first?
This is my second, but it's my first in a long time.
So I
The
guess
first
walk
one I
us through, I
yeah.
guess, the first and how it felt with this one.
So the first one I kind of won them the same way, but the first one was for Four Corners Championship Wrestling, which was a offshoot of Dirty South Championship Wrestling, which is where I started.
Uh-huh.
Um, they ended up putting their top title on me. It was a triple threat between me and two guys that had come up with and do like called the backslide, gave him the backslide. All here's one, two. I hear congrats, champ. Three. I was like, huh?
So they didn't
Like
tell you.
no, and then no, so that was a surprise. Then I bring my wife in, I bring all the kids in, and we take pictures and everything. That was a really special moment for me because that was my first one. And then fast forward to this one, I had wrestled Bobby Wolford in the main event of Next Level for like 5 different shows. And I love Bobby. I love Bobby so much because I've known him for years,
Uh-huh.
but I'd lost all of them except for one, which ended up in no contest. So I go back, I go to the next show, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm like, all right, so what am I doing? They're like, you're wrestling Bobby. I was like, okay, okay. I was like, all right. So we go through because I think after this, they had said he was going to go into a program with Chris Valla.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know, we're gonna do our thing because we always had great matches. So we're gonna do our thing. We're gonna kill it. Put you over strong. Let you go into Chris Valla. So we're working. We're working. He's like, spear me. I was like, okay, because he said he was gonna kick out. He was gonna give me his cutter.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So he's like, spear me. Hit him. One, two. Congrats. I love you. Huh? One, three. I'm like, oh, okay. So again, tears. Like I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. All right. Um, my wife's over there. She's taking pictures. She hasn't taken pictures of my matches in years. I just thought she was hyped for me. Um, so I call her over, give her a big hug. Then yeah, my one of my best friends in the business, Jack Tatum, came out. My wrestling dad, Ali Steele, came out. Just gave me a hug. I was like, yeah. I was like, this is nice. I didn't know any of this was coming.
Yeah. Is that common? Like for people not to tell ahead of time?
Coming for me, I guess.
Yeah, I've never heard that happening. Of course, I'm not like a wrestler. I'm not in the locker room, so obviously I wouldn't know. Like the only time I could think of, like you got reverse Montreal screw job twice.
Both my titles.
Yeah, that's awesome though. I mean, that if you want to get a true reaction, that's the best way to do it.
I feel like you get those raw emotions, that
Yeah,
unexpected oh my god moment, and I feel like personally that's the way to do it.
yeah,
That's if I could do one, that's
yeah,
how I would do it. And
yeah.
because those moments, it's different, and it's moments that stick with you. Like I'm not gonna forget it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, your wife knew though ahead of time.
Yeah, they snuck it to her, and my wife is horrible at keeping secrets. Absolutely horrible. Like she'll give me my Christmas presents the day of like December. Like
That's awesome.
but she held it and I'm super proud of her for
Yeah,
it.
it's got to be a tough one. You mentioned being a part of the Gorilla Squad and Ali there. What's it like, kind of being like, I guess, under the wings of like probably one of the the most experienced tag teams in North Carolina.
Is like I've heard about the Gorilla Squad basically since I started. So I'd always heard stories and heard rumblings, and then like I was intimidated when I first met him
Yeah,
because I had met him for the first time at Shane Martin at his memorial show,
yeah,
and I was like, oh, these guys. I'm like, hey, hey, Mr. Tank, hey, Mr. Steel, hey, Mr. Mac, how are y'all doing? Hey,
yeah,
Mr. Devon. Like, and then sitting there and talking to them, and then seeing them again at next level, and getting to talk to Ali, and like, me and Ali kind of look alike.
yeah.
Like, so
You said it,
when I
not me.
first, he knows because
Yeah,
he's my dad. Like, I came up to him, I was like, Dad, because he's 6'5", like he's huge dude. I'm like,
yeah,
Dad. I was like, you went out for the milk and here you are. So so that was a joke for a while. Like, it was a joke for a good minute, and then he hits me up on Facebook. He's like, hey, he's like, send me your number. So I give my number. He calls me. He's like, hey, he's like, my a little bit of backstory. My grandma had just passed away,
uh-huh.
so I was really going through it because my grandma was like, other than my wife and my mom, like she was like the number two person in my life at the time.
Yeah,
So like she was up there. So I'm like, okay, all right. I went through it. I went through a real low spot. So he called me. He's like, hey, he's like, he's like, you look a little. He's like, I've seen you for a while. He's like, that light's not in your eyes. He's like, is everything okay? So I told him, and he's like, yeah. He's like, he talked me through it, everything. Then he's like, listen. He's like, I talked to the guys. I want to offer you something. He's like, you don't have to say anything right now. He's like, you can think about it, whatever. He's like, but I want you to be in the Gorilla Squad.
oh wow.
I was like, uh-huh. He's like, yeah. He's like, you can think about it. You need some time. I said, yeah, I need some time. Yeah, I'll do it. I was like, yeah. I was like, absolutely. That's not something I'm gonna say no to. Like, he's like, yeah. He's like, I've seen how hard you've been grinding. I feel like, I can really, we can really help you, really, really help elevate you and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I want to be part of the Gorilla Squad. There's not a world where I would say no to this.
Yeah,
So, it's helped my confidence. It's helped my like being able to talk to them and pick their brains. It was as long as they've been in it. It's just it's definitely been that extra step that I needed.
yeah. That is awesome. Yeah, they were at the first show I ever saw, independent. It was in Clayton. I think Ultimo Dragon was there. Yeah, that was the first.
Uh, was it NAWA?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
that's it.
no, NCWA or something like that?
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah. That was the first time. So yeah, they're everywhere. They're definitely a staple. And it's awesome that you get to kind of call them your family and your long lost dad. Um, and now you're kind of in a new group, The Way. You guys are you based more out of? Did I say it wrong again?
You have one more time. You have you have exactly one more time.
I'm trying to start a rivalry because I've got two
Apparently,
people. I've got two people, and we just if somebody told me you guys needed somebody to face, so we'll
yeah.
definitely,
Like, let's face the way.
yeah, the path versus the way, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the path. That's you, Calibus Kingston, right?
Mhm.
And then Aaron,
Aaron
looking on
Cox.
his last name,
Aaron Cox.
Aaron Cox. So Bojack had nothing but nice things to say about you guys, but talk me through kind of what the process is and what is the attitude of the path.
It's the path. You either walk the path or you get off of it. We don't like we're here. We're here for each other. We're brothers, and that's all we really give a fuck about. You know, we're all three of us are powerhouses. We're very aggressive when we need to be.
Yeah,
We don't take any shit, and we're here to take what's ours, like what we have earned and what we feel like we've deserved for years that we haven't got.
Awesome. Out of the three of you guys, who do you think would, if you were to fight, who would win?
Uh, See, I know what you're trying to do right now. We're not going to do it. All
Yeah,
right,
we're
I
coming for
see
you
you.
guys.
I
We've got to
see
train, and we've got to, or we got to do the ropes. We got to earn our spot. But 6 years from now,
it. I see what you're doing. You're not doing it. All right.
oh,
You. I was trying to cause dissension already.
yeah, that's awesome. Anybody that Bojack puts a stamp on is definitely somebody that people need to watch out for. So that is awesome. And so we're kind of think we're up to date with the path. You go to the path, or you don't. Um, not as clever sounding as the way, but I mean, if it
Man,
works for you
you
guys.
about to get run the fuck over, man.
But what does the future hold for Trey Havoc? Who are some of the guys in 2023 that you want to share the ring with?
Oh man. Obviously Bo's up there at the top. Tim, White Mike. I just crossed oh man, he's gonna kill me. I just crossed James Ryan off my list.
Yeah,
But I have to run it back with him. Uh I wrestled James Jackson Drake last year for PWF, but James Malachi's on my list. He was one that was supposed to get crossed off, but it wasn't in the cards for the time.
yeah,
But he's about to get it. Um, Mark James. There's a lot of people on my list. James Johnson right now. Drew Hood. There's a lot of people on my list,
yeah.
dude. And now that I'm at the point where I'm pretty much firing all
Unknown caller.
cylinders. Is
I'm
that
so
you?
sorry.
Okay.
That's me. Yeah, no. My Bluetooth is connected to the soundboard here, so
There
I
you go.
apologize. It's very
No, you're
unprofessional
good.
of me.
Hey
Is that
man,
strike three?
that is you. I'm gonna give you 2.5. All right.
Okay, okay. I'll be
And
on good the rest of the call. Um, let's say like 5 years dream opponents. Who do you want to be in the ring with?
5 years.
Or just like you could like 5 matches, dream matches. Who would you share the ring with?
Give me Keith fucking Lee. Give me Keith Lee. I know he's fucking out there. Give me Keith Lee. I'm sorry, I lost my cool
No,
there.
it's cool. I mean, is he somebody that has had a lot of influence on you?
uh, Other than the fact that literally everybody who sees me for the first time is like, you kind of look like Keith Lee. Anybody ever tell you resemble Keith fucking Lee?
Yeah,
Yes, everybody fucking dude. Oh man, I had a dude at I went to AML to watch Bo and Diego, and dude just comes up to me, and I'm like, I dropped because at the time I was like a little bit before that I was like 298.
yeah.
I dropped down to like 250, so I was feeling good. I was feeling smaller, and dude comes up. He's like, "Hey, anybody ever tell you look like Keith Lee?" I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Every day of my fucking life, yes."
Yeah,
So, my wife actually did a damn back when the gifts were doing like the face swap.
yeah.
She did one and put my face on Keith Lee's body. Nobody could tell.
So the dream's got to be for someday to somebody to walk up to Keith Lee and say, "Hey, you kind of look like Trey Havoc." Has anybody told you
Yes. And then I was trying to get on AEW Dark for so long because I'm like, give me just put us beside each other.
that?
I'll get a contract just because I look like this motherfucker. Like, you know, be a funny story to tell. Here, sign this.
Yeah.
Like, but him, Minoru Suzuki,
Okay. So
uh,
you got a little sadistic side.
yes, I like to hit hard and I like to be hit hard.
Yeah.
Those are basically what define me.
Yeah.
um, uh, you know, Trevor Lee, Cameron Grimes,
Yeah,
and Miles Bourne.
that's a pretty good list.
Yes, I will give you a story on why Miles Bourne,
Okay.
because Miles Bourne, I went to high school with him.
Uh-huh.
I went to high school with him. I actually, we were on the same wrestling team. So I saw when he got signed, I was like, nope, I'm gonna have to get that out your ass for that one. So, hey, um, I'm sorry, I'm
Oh
sorry.
no, no, you're fine.
Okay, his wallet's in my truck. All right, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Let's strike two, Bo.
Oh man, not me.
Alright. So Miles Bourne, Keith Lee, um, blanking, Minoru Suzuki, and Grimes. Those are your
Yeah,
top five. Awesome. I want to bring this up because I want to maybe use this platform to make a difference. I was checking out your Facebook page, and some asshole left a review on your page. And I saw that. I was like, what a piece of shit. So I went
yeah,
ahead and I immediately did a review trying to balance it out. But if everybody could go to Trey Havoc's Facebook page and leave him a 5-star review, because
uh,
when you search Trey Havoc, the first thing that comes up is like 2.5 stars out of five, and that's not a good look.
yeah. No, it. I saw that because it was like something that happened like the middle of the night. I woke up and I saw that. And at the time, my confidence was really low
Yeah,
to the point where I thought about stepping away. I was like, I don't belong here. Like, I don't deserve to be here. So I'm just gonna walk away.
yeah,
And I saw that, and that hit me hard, dude.
yeah,
That I was like, oh, all right, and because it was a lot of stuff that I was like, there's stuff that's like subconsciously like you're thinking, and
yeah,
like you see that, and it's like, all right, so the stuff I'm thinking is true, like, and it was really bad, but I was fortunate to have some good people in my corner. Um, Cade Seidel being one of them.
yeah.
Just in my corner, being able to talk to me, and yeah, that was a bad spot for me.
Yeah, well, we're
Yeah,
gonna fix it. We're gonna at least get 5 people, even if I have to like make my family do it. We're gonna get that back. And hey, Irv Anderson Jr., go fuck yourself.
yeah,
His picture
yeah,
is literally of Eli Manning. So
yeah. I don't like. There's no fucking anything that says he's a
yeah,
person. So I'm like, okay, you're just a fucking troll. All
yeah,
right, that's cool.
definitely looking through his page, he's definitely a troll. But we're gonna
Yeah,
get that fixed for you. Um, and I want to be cognizant of your time, so we're gonna wrap it up with like a few like a rapid fire section here. So the first one, and this is for Christian, he wasn't able to make it. You're going to cookout. You ever been to cookout?
yes.
What's your go-to cookout tray?
Uh, Let me see the what Old West style with
Okay.
Cajun fries, a Cajun wrap, and a pink lemonade.
Okay. Do you do you know the difference between pink lemonade and lemonade?
One's pink.
Yeah, I think that's it. I've looked, I've spent time, I've researched, and that's all I can find out is that it's just a different color. And yet everybody's like, we have pink lemonade. That's wild to me.
It's got a little
So,
something. It's got a little something in there.
yeah, it's I don't know what it is, but like the pink lemonade, especially the high C pink lemonade,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good time when you see that.
Yes.
Awesome. And then our last question that we typically ask is who are some wrestlers that you think more people should know about?
Oh man. Devin Worthy, Jack Tatum. Uh, Shoot. That's a these guys. Jack Tatum, Joseph Everhart, my dude Hambone, like these guys over Nathan Cross, Thomas Extreme. Like these guys are out there and they're not as well known as they should be, but they're going out there and they're kicking ass and they're busting their ass. And yeah, they're working very hard. My dude Jack, like I said, he's one of my best friends in the
Yeah.
business. Devin Worthy shed tears like a fucking baby when I won my title,
Yeah.
and he stepped away about 9 months ago, but I'm trying to get. He's actually I gave you four. I gave
Yeah.
you four names. Devin Worthy is my fifth name because every chance that I get, I'm going to try and get him to come back to the fucking ring.
Yeah.
Every chance. This is my Devin Worthy.
Awesome. We're gonna get your Facebook up, and we're gonna get Devin back in the business. That's our goal for this podcast.
Everybody go just bombard Devin with please come back fucking
Yes.
messages. Everything. I don't fucking
Yeah.
care.
This isn't a question that I always ask, but you seem like you might be up to the task. Is there anybody that needs to like be taken down a peg in the wrestling scene?
I feel like I feel like everyone can do what I feel like everyone can always step back and reflect and maybe be more humble with the position they're in.
Very
Like I said,
political answer.
oh yeah, you ain't getting me, motherfucker. If you said you've seen my page, I have nothing controversial about my page, and you won't get me to start now. Nah, like fucking that's always been my thing. I'm Cody Rhodes in this shit right now.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes, though. I mean, he's sparked
He's
you some
had
flames.
he's had his some slips, but
Yeah.
he's doing good right now.
Yeah. And this is a question I've never asked before, but who's your favorite wrestler like today? Currently doing it, like on TV, I would say.
It bounces a lot. Um, but my criteria now is how you are in the ring
Uh-huh.
and how you are as a person when I meet you.
Yeah.
Carlito and what's his AW name? Uh, Scott Dawson. Fuck it, Scott
Yeah.
Dawson. Um, dude, two of the nicest people I've ever met outside the ring, and
Yeah.
they like, dude, Dawson is unbelievable in the ring. I love
Oh, yeah.
watching it. Love because he started where I started.
Mhm.
Like he started down there where I started. So like they were always telling me about KC Big Night, KC Big Night,
Oh, yeah.
and then find out who he was and seeing the shit, and it's like, dude, you're incredible. And then meeting him and just how because him and Ali are friends, him and the
Uh-huh.
Dawsons are friends, and like meeting him and just seeing how fucking nice of a person he is,
Oh, yeah.
and then like how helpful Carlito is in person, dude. Just like I asked him, gave me critiques. I saw him at Fayetteville Comic Con,
Uh-huh.
watched my match, gave me criticisms, told me what I was doing good, dude. Like those, like that goes a long way with me.
Yeah. Did you see his pop this past weekend?
Yeah, I was so happy for him.
Yeah.
Like especially since he's gonna be on the show with me at Dominant.
Yeah. Way to
Um,
bring it back full circle. Did you know
yeah,
that his full name when he debuted is Carlito Caribbean Cool?
yes.
So if yeah, it's always a little fact like throw in there. So he overcame that. Uh, yeah, talk about a an entrance that you hear it. I spit in the face of people. Like that's one of the ones. It's like all time great entrance music. So that's awesome. Uh,
Dude.
this probably won't come out before DCW, but we're gonna make sure we share it on our page. I think we might be there too. So we'll stop by and say hi. But it's definitely a show you guys should check out next time that they run. And I appreciate your time tonight. It's been great talking to you, and we'd love to have you back on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll be on here anytime you need me.
yeah,
I love this.
awesome. Well, I hope you have a great night, and we will catch you soon.
All right, then. Thank you.
Thank you.